Welcome. We're welcome to today's Wednesday webinar where we're going to talk about creating videos for your course. I'm Lisa Kidder. I work in the Instructional Technology Resource Center, or the ITRC. And with me today is Ryan Randall, Mark Cooper, and Paul Lynch. And we enjoy supporting faculty and helping you accomplish good things with your teaching. So creating good videos is part of that. So for today, we've divided the session into things to guide you as before you record, things to guide you during your recording, and things to guide you after your recording. So hopefully these three sections will help orient on the things to consider in order to help you create the best videos for your course. So Paul's going to start us off with before you record.
Great, thank you, Lisa. So before we start anything, I like to make a plan. Hopefully you do too. And one of the first things I like to start with is, what is the purpose of this video? For example, is the video meant to be an introduction? Is it a lecture style video where you're delivering content to students? A bridge video, maybe where you're connecting modules, or are you demonstrating a concept or an assignment to students? Different videos are going to require different types of planning, maybe different types of actual video shooting style. So maybe your introduction won't be the same as a lecture style video. And they may also require different lengths to make sure you're communicating all your content. If you are working with videos that tend to be longer form in nature, so like a video lecture, for example, you may want to consider breaking it up into chunks or just into smaller segments. Optimally, we want to aim for about 6 to 9 minutes in length for any of those longer videos. Next, we want to think about the intent of the video. Specifically, is this a video I want to reuse, or is it a video that we'd maybe consider disposable? So maybe it'd only be used once. If you want a reusable video, something that we'd use from semester to semester when we're teaching a specific course, we want to try to avoid language that calls out specific days or times, or even maybe months, for example, or holidays. So I would say, think of trying to keep it date or semester neutral, so to speak. So then it doesn't necessarily age and you can get more use out of it. You can use it in more courses. So really just we're looking at improving the reusability of that particular video. On the other hand, if we have a video we're considering disposable, we can be a little more lax with our parameters. So maybe there's just a really short 2 or 3 minute video you need to make a clarification on an assignment, or you just need to make just a short announcement to go out to the class, a generalized announcement. Something like that, you can be way more flexible with, and it's probably not something you're going to carry over to semester. Maybe you want to carry the format over so you can copy and create videos in that same style, but each individual video you would make wouldn't necessarily be carried over. Once we've gone through this planning, I specifically saved this question for last. Does it need a video? Sometimes we don't really know that. We have to work through the planning process to decide, okay, yeah, maybe this is the right choice. Maybe it isn't the right choice. Sometimes that planning makes it clear. So something we can consider is, does this video support the module and course objectives in my course? Is it helping my students complete these objectives, right? And sometimes maybe we get to that and the answer is yes, this is absolutely the right tool for the job. Let's go ahead and work on making this. Other times we may be looking at things and, you know what, maybe some of these things would be considered asynchronous things. There's a task list that we're describing, or maybe there's detailed instructions. There's some things that may be better in a text format rather than a video format. But if you already have things like this in a course, they could be supplemented by the addition of the video. So instead of relying on that video as the sole means of communication for those things, it's there to supplement it. So then students can choose a format that is optimal for them. Next. So we're a little past the planning point. We're actually into writing the content. Write yourself a transcript or an outline. I want to say I was very excited about this part in particular because I get to pull back the curtain a little bit, and all my colleagues can attest to this. When I'm actually planning my portions of the webinar, I've used both a very detailed transcript that I will follow verbatim, or other times I use an outline. Maybe it's a little more detailed, or maybe other times it's just okay, I know my key points. I just need to make sure I hit them. Stuff like that can really make sure our videos are focused on the content, and then we can work on other things. So maybe like even delivery and stuff. In my transcripts and in my outline, if I have any like actionable things, so for example, if I have a if I need to switch to a screen share in the middle of a video recording, I'll actually make a note of those actions just so I make sure, okay, I'm doing this thing. I need to also make sure I include this action at this point in the video. What having this transcript does, transcript, outline, whatever resource you may use, just to touch on that staying focused, I like that it presents mental guardrails for me. So it's another one of those things that's okay, I'm hitting everything, I'm doing good, I'm right on track. And I just need to follow that through to the end of my video. If you do end up writing a full transcript, if you're comfortable with it, it could even be beneficial to just go ahead and share that full transcript with your students alongside the video. So then looking at that ability for students to choose how they're interacting with that content. So maybe some would prefer to use a video, some may prefer to actually read the transcript. Then you're catering to different styles of learning that individual students may prefer. And then this last thing, we have a few additional considerations. So the cool thing about this is we have ways that we can support diversity, equity, and inclusion while using videos. So let's say, for example, you're doing a lecture style video and you're explaining some kind of concept to your students. What we can do is, if we're thinking about the name specifically, so this would be a transcript or an outline thing, we can think about using varied names for either these hypothetical students or these hypothetical people as a way to expand that diversity, equity, and inclusion. Something else we can consider, if the video is structured around, let's say you're interviewing someone or you have a guest speaker coming in, consider collaborating with colleagues who can provide multiple perspectives on topics, and this would be topics that would be relevant to your course. If you're doing an interview or a guest speaker video, but it's being done live rather than pre-recorded, it may also be beneficial to make sure that particular session is being recorded. So then let's say, for example, if there are students that aren't available at that time, if it's outside of class hours, and they aren't able to attend it live, they can go back and watch the video. If that particular session is content dense or content rich, then all students can go back and watch that video and take notes on it. So that could be something that'd be beneficial for all students, not just the ones who wouldn't be able to attend that particular session. And then one last thing, and then I'll hand it off to Mark. This is more thinking about, okay, next steps, we're just about ready to hit record, or we just hit record. As someone who's gone 10 minutes into a video with a muted mic, we want to make sure all the right things are set and ready to go before we start. Just like pilots have a pre-flight checklist, making sure everything's working on the plane, something we can do before we take off with our video recording is double checking our mic to make sure we are not muted. And we can always take a few seconds and double check to make sure that we are actually capturing our recording. So making sure that recording is going. Next, I'll pass things off to Mark, who's going to actually talk about how to make the actual recording part of the video much easier.
Thanks, Paul. Okay, so we planned, now it's time to record, and we're going to talk about some tips that you can do prior to hitting that button, and as well as when you do hit that record button. So the first thing you want to do is have a script at your fingertips, and Paul mentioned creating a script, which is very important as those guide rails, as he had mentioned. Now you want to have that script ready at your reference. So you want to be able to keep that in a place that you can take a look at it, whether it's on screen. I tend to use a secondary monitor where I have my script up on that monitor. My colleague Ryan shared with me that he has a window that's resized to fit the screen that he's presenting from. And so come up with a system that best suits your needs. Then you want to deliver off of that transcript, either using bullet points or the full text, depending on your delivery style. You want to make sure you aim to make eye contact with your audience. And I have a very complex system that helps me to do that. And it's a Post-it note that I have a little smiley face on that I keep by my camera. And that helps me to occasionally look over to my camera and make eye contact with my audience. And this way you're not looking down at your desk while you're presenting, because that doesn't help with engagement of students. The next thing you want to do is you want to practice reading it out loud before you hit that record button. That way you're familiar with your script. This helps to refine the delivery, and it helps also to minimize any mistakes. Familiarize yourself with, if you're doing any kind of demonstration, you want to familiarize yourself with talking while navigating the mouse on a computer seamlessly to demonstrate those on-screen tasks. And that is a tough thing to do, to master. So practice that ahead of time if you're demonstrating. It's important to determine the recording format that most suits your recording needs, whether that's using your phone or Zoom or some alternative recording application. And then you want to practice using that format to ensure that you're comfortable with it and proficient. Then you want to, authenticity enhances your connection with your students. So relax, speak naturally, and understand that imperfections, mistakes that we make, can increase our relatability and student engagement. So don't fret over missteps and things like that. So those are just natural things that we do. And then finally, utilize resources on campus that are available to record videos. So take advantage of the ITRC lab, where we have a recording and edit bay. And this is in the ISU library, lower level on the Pocatello campus. You can give us a call or email us to reserve it, or you can just pop in, then you take the risk of somebody else is using it. Within this recording and edit bay, we have professional recording software and applications. We have a space for optimal lighting and sound. And we also have a green screen so that you can produce high quality productions and project any background behind it. So next, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan, and Ryan's going to talk a little bit about what to do after you record your video.
Great, thanks, Mark. So after the video, I'd say there are two different segments of what you want to think about. The first of them is, after the recording, think about the files and think about how you yourself will engage with those in the future. So when you think about file management, I'd recommend that you find a consistent format to save them in, the files, and also a place to save them. If you're using Zoom, you might choose to record to the cloud always, so then it's there, and then you can also download it yourself to your local machine as a backup. Perhaps consider having it in one single place, always in your own. So if you have the luxury of having an external file drive, make sure to always record it there. Perhaps even make sure to say, okay, these are the different folders where I will put each particular course that I'm preparing for. And then with those recordings, make sure that you name them so that in the future you'll be able to find them. So for instance, you might consider something like English 3311, Module 01, Part 02, as opposed to Zoom and then just the date. Future you will appreciate knowing, okay, this is what this is intended for, as opposed to, I know this is a recording of me on my own, but I don't know exactly what the purpose was. So you don't have to take 5 or 10 minutes to reconstruct in your mind what your intentions were back then. Instead, if you've named them in a particular convention, it'll make it much easier for you to know which of the recordings are the ones you intend to use. So think about taking, after you've done the recording, those few extra moments to make sure to prepare for how you'll cobble these together into a finalized product into the future. And then the other thing that I would recommend considering is accessibility and how you'll share these things with others. So for instance, as Paul mentioned, if you're someone who reads profoundly from a transcript that's well developed, go ahead and share that with your students. Many students will appreciate the ability to reinforce their learning across modalities. So they might read along with you as they're watching the video, or they might realize, oh, this is one key phrase that really helped me understand a concept. So consulting the transcript would be really useful for them. You also might choose to use, if you're recording with the particular platform that will generate captions for you, you can refine those. That would be one of the fastest ways to make sure that your videos are captioned, particularly if you're using a lot of disciplinary specific terms that you think the auto-generated captions won't write out correctly. It would be good for you to be prepared to go back and refine those. And also, you can request captions from ISU's Disability Services Center. Their capacity to caption things changes according to semester and according to time of semester, based on how many other people have already requested things. So that's why I was saying you might consider refining your own if you can. But if you want to request captions from them, they certainly are happy to help make those happen. The URL is on the screen, but I'll read it out for you as well. It's https and then www.isu.edu/accessibility/make-things-accessible/videos. So they have a bunch of resources at that website for you as well. So those are some of the things to think about after you've made your video.
All right, so you've learned a lot about videos today. Want to learn more? We have our Tiger Tracks. That's the list of articles. Those are step-by-step. Those are text, not always video. Sometimes we do link videos in them. The QR code that's on the screen will give you access to this slide and the next couple of slides with clickable links. We record all the videos, as you've noticed today. You can watch other videos. We edit these videos. They end up being somewhere between 6 and 8 minutes each, just to give you an idea that we follow what we practice here. We had great conversations about accessibility, so check out the accessibility resources as well. We are happy to meet with you and enjoy interacting with you, whether it's via email at itrc@isu.edu. That goes to all the full-time staff. We will get back to you. Whether you give us a call at 208-282-5880, or whether you stop by in our drop-in lab down in the basement of the Oboler Library in Pocatello. We do have some personnel over at Meridian. We recommend you make an appointment. Anybody can meet with you via Zoom. We can meet with you in Meridian. We can come to your office. Go ahead and make an appointment for a time that works, and we would be there to help you with that. Again, watch Idaho State Today. There's some exciting news that's happening, and watch for our upcoming Wednesday webinars. Check out the events calendar and our schedule. We will continue these, and hopefully you find them helpful and help you to be an amazing teacher. Thank you.